Welcome to Tough Conversations with David Wood, where play meets depth. We help teams and high-performing leaders like you to master your tough conversations so you succeed in your career and in your life. When we avoid tough conversations, we stay small. Teams stay disengaged, conflicted, and ultimately end up quitting. When we lean in and master our tough conversations, they become the defining moments that literally shape our careers, our relationships, and our lives. So let's dive in and master your next tough conversation so you can be the leader that you would follow. Let's play.
I'm doing great. I don't see the recording thing on, are we?
It's on. Oh, it's
All
on.
right. It's on. We're on.
I'm always recording up here.
I know you are.
Yeah. So welcome, Martin Rutte. I'm excited. This is the first official podcast interview for Play for Real. How are you doing today?
How am I doing today? I'm excited to be interviewed by you. You know, you're an old dear friend. I think a coach's coach in one sense, and I have no idea where this is going to go, and I'm delighted to find out.
You don't have the questions.
I don't have the questions.
I have some of the questions, and some of them I don't have.
Good.
Yeah.
It's the ones you don't have that I'm interested in.
All right, great. We'll do lots of those. So the topic is play for real. How are you playing for real? We'll have a focus on truth, daring, and caring. But first, I might put you on the spot a little bit with what are some of the things, we'll just say 2 minutes, of what you've done both professionally and personally that you're proud of?
Whew. I mean, what I'm proud of is following my spirit, following my soul. And then I moved into consulting. Some of my clients, Mary and Merrill Dow, Consumer Pharmaceuticals, Virgin Records, Sony Pictures. I spoke 4 times at the Harvard Business School on vision. I did a co-author of the New York Times business bestseller, Chicken Soup for the Soul at Work. I've just published a new book, Project Heaven on Earth, which hopefully we'll talk about. Happily married we just celebrated 46 years. Amazing. And it gets deep. It gets deeper. I have a lovely story. I'm very proud of my marriage. We were having breakfast several months ago, and Maida, my wife, looked at me and said, I really love you. And David, I blushed. I actually blushed. Both of us just burst out laughing.
I just told that story yesterday. Your story. Someone was saying, I don't have any role models of people who are happy after the first year of marriage. I said, I got one. And I told that story. Yeah. So I know that you're very highly regarded. You and I are both members of the Transformational Leadership Council. I highly regard you, and you're a good friend to me. So I'm excited to delve into this topic. My point of view is that the game of life is the ultimate game. And not everyone believes that we're playing a game. I do. I think we're playing a game. And what we're exploring in this podcast is how do we play the best game possible? So I'm curious, in what way currently do you feel like you're playing for real in the games of life and work?
Before I answer that question, I want to do 2 prefaces. One is the notion of game. An old teacher of mine years ago, Werner Erhard, he was giving a lecture on game. And he asked the question, what is the essence of a game? And I don't know. His line was, where what is not is more important than what is. Isn't that brilliant?
Yeah.
And I never forgot that, because it's like, what's next? What do I want next? And being, enjoying this and also looking at what's next. The other point I want to make is a professor, I think Boston College, Peter Kreeft, wrote a book about heaven. And in it, he said, how do you know that heaven exists here in the world? And he said, one of the ways is through value. So when I feel love, when I feel respect, when I feel wisdom, when I feel beauty, that's a way of experiencing heaven here on earth. But then he added something, David, which blew me away. He said the word play. That when you're playing, you're really experiencing heaven here on earth. My sister once was asked, what does your brother do? And she, out of her mouth, just instantly came, he plays. And that's like the highest compliment my sister could give me, because I think it is a game too. Not in a frivolous sense of a game, but a game of enjoyment. And that's a long answer to your question, but it's a very profound question, I think. And you know, I remember I was with a client, a vice president, oh, maybe 8, 10 years ago. And I said, "How's it going, Steve?" And he said, "Brutal." And David, I had never heard that word in a corporate setting. I was doing consulting for this company. And it shocked me. It just shocked me, the ferocity of it, almost the violence of it. So contrast or compare that brutal with play. I mean, they're two ends of the same of a spectrum of life, right? How do you want life to be? We've forgotten the notion of play, and so I think what you're doing to bring that back into into normalcy is very important at this time in the evolution of the planet.
Yeah. And when you say brutal, I'm thinking that play doesn't have to replace brutal. You could play a game and have it feel brutal and go, yeah, but it was a hell of a game. Like I'm in it right now, and still bring the play to it. And
he wasn't. I mean,
right, yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah,
exactly.
He was not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you remind me of when we talk about play and playing for real, I'm reminded of the Morehouse point of view. I studied an organization called the Morehouse for many, many years, and they held the viewpoint that life is perfect. It's perfect exactly the way it is. Call it Byron Katie's loving what is. And there's always room for more. And I think that's where the game comes in. We can appreciate the perfection of everything and how perfect that there's room for more, so we get to play a game of obtaining, enjoying, attaining, enjoying. So, great.
Let me say another way of saying what you just said. Look at the title of the book. I don't know if I ever did this with you. Can you read the title of the book? Mm-hmm. What does it say?
It says Project Heaven on Earth.
There's another title embedded in the same title.
I know the answer to this.
Most people don't, because
why don't you tell us?
Project Heaven on Earth.
Yeah.
So the notion of what you're talking about being, projecting heaven on earth, in other words, playing, being, and project heaven on earth, the noun, the doing, those are both of the aspects. We can experience heaven on earth in this moment, and we can do whatever is necessary in this moment to have more of heaven on earth in the next moment. And that's the way I hear you speaking about that.
Well, you just blew my mind a little bit, because I realized that, the quickest way to attain perfection is to declare that what you already have is perfect.
It's a very critical point, and one that I've been really contemplating deeply lately. The belief that this is not heaven on earth is extremely profound. The belief that life isn't the way it should be. This is heaven on earth now. Let's just say we accept that, right? We can like fall back into the warm pool of this. And we can also do the work to create more and more and larger amounts of heaven on earth in subsequent moments. It's an apparent paradox, but it's not really.
Yeah, agreed. So, how to find heaven on earth is to... I said to Byron Katie once, we were talking about The Secret, the movie The Secret, and she couldn't remember what it was. I said, it's about how to get what you want. And she's paused a moment and said, and this work is about how to want what you have.
How to want what you get.
Yeah. So what I'm getting from this conversation is one way to play for real is to appreciate what you have already.
I want to add another word that has been coming up for me the last couple of weeks, which is enjoy what you have.
Yeah.
And especially, if things are going great, it's easy. But when things appear to not be going great, that we put that in the context of enjoyment as well. It's a mind flip, but to enjoy this.
Right. I remember now on our previous call, the words quiet enjoyment coming up. So I like that
as well.
So what I'm getting as your first answer, or one of your answers to how do you play for real, is almost counterintuitively, is to enjoy. To really enjoy everything that's happening is a way to play this game for real. I love it.
One of the examples I use is when I'm taking a flight and it's been canceled or delayed, and I missed the second flight and so on and so on. Years ago, I used to get so upset and so mad and so frustrated. And when that now happens, I go, fabulous, great. I mean, I really do that. Let me enjoy this moment. What's this designed for? Who should I meet now? Why did the plan that I have not go that way, but goes this way? Who's here? Who am I to enjoy? And it's a simple flip in the perception of the judgment of this is not okay.
So I'm thinking right now, what's coming to me is that the ultimate game, I think one of the ultimate aims for most of us in life is enjoyment. We want to enjoy life and we want to feel good generally. And we have all these ideas of what will get us that. If we have more money, if we have more success, if we have more prestige, we have more power, that'll give us, at the end of the day, we'll get enjoyment and we'll get feeling good in our body. But if you enjoy the flight being delayed or canceled, then haven't you just skipped the middleman? You just skipped 20 years of striving. Like, you thought you had to get to a business meeting, let's say in Toronto, to get all the good stuff so that you'll survive and thrive and feel good. But you just, within seconds, created that feeling that I think we're all striving for. Is there anything you'd like to say about truth, daring, or caring as it pertains to playing for real before we wrap up?
I think a lot of this conversation has been about truth. I mean, daring, daring is, what is your soul saying? And follow that. And on my website, projectheavenonearth.com, if you sign up for my free 7-day course, you'll get the 3 questions that will help you discover what heaven on earth is for you, and the simple, and this is a key word, simple, easy action you can take in the next 24 hours to begin making that real. The other thing, of course, is a plug for the book, Project Heaven on Earth, available on, I'll push that up a little longer, Project Heaven on Earth, available on Amazon globally.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you, David. Thank you for your work in the world. You know what? I think your work is your contribution to heaven on earth.
Thanks, mate.
You've been listening to Tough Conversations with David Wood. Now it's action time. Mastering your tough conversations will have a major impact on your team, your company, and you as a high-performing executive or entrepreneur. If you're ready, request a discovery session with me at playforreal.life so we can transform your team, your company, and you. And if you've enjoyed this episode, I would love you to help me spread this message of tough conversations in a very simple way. Just leave a public review at playforreal.life/podcast. And you may hear me read it out loud and thank you live on a future podcast. Now, let's play.